So, what is my favorite scripture? My favorite scripture usually changes, as time goes by and given the situation that I'm in or whatever. But right now, as I've been kind of reading Isaiah a little bit, both in the Book of Mormon and in the Old Testament, um, a scripture really hit me recently as I read it, and it's 2 Nephi 22, 7 through 8. It's also found in Isaiah 54, chapter 54. And this is, Isaiah speaks quite a bit of the scattering and gathering of Israel, or scattering and gathering of God's people. But I kind of likened it to myself, how maybe, I guess, I get scattered and I need to get gathered back to God, whatever it might be. You can kind of liken it to yourself that way too. But let me pull it up real quick. So it says, "For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I have hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer." Um, so I've always found that interesting, that prophets, a lot of times they seem to direct the people to their fathers. You are the people of Abraham, or God says, remember the day you came out of Egypt, remember the fathers, to help people remember who they are. And when they become scattered, a lot of times it's not because they forget where they are, but really forget who they are. And when God's people, become scattered and lost, they tend to turn away from Him. And I kind of see that in my own life. When I drift away personally, I feel a bit scattered by distraction and by challenges or different things that I've got my mind on that isn't important. And sometimes, when I try to turn to Him, it seems like He does hide His face, as the scripture mentioned. But He says, only for a small moment. This scripture brings so much meaning to me, because we may find that He feels, or we may feel, that He's gone, He's not listening. But he talks about how He hides His face for a small moment. Sometimes we might feel that way in our weaknesses or our challenges, as maybe we've drifted away a little bit. We need to realign ourselves. But then it says, in His everlasting kindness and mercy, He brings us back. And I like to think of those small moments sometimes, as He seems like, when He is distant, He's got things under control, and He will gather us to Him.